First step I did was to choose a main topic. I chose pollution because I was interested in it and I thought I could find a way to connect it with my City Week topic. I then made a lotus diagram around ocean pollution and how it affects society. The subtopics were tourism, global warming, science, wildlife, pollution, travel, food, and laws. I started doing my project around the question of how does ocean pollution affect Adelaide? I then realised that was very difficult to do and I couldn't find much information around the topic, so I decided to change the question to how does ocean pollution affect society? Meaning, how does ocean pollution affect all societies around the world in a general sense? I tried my best to relate the question to our City Week project, but I couldn't find a way without making it extremely difficult for myself. If I were to change my topic to something that relates to the city, I would have probably chosen how the rising growth of housing in the city has affected everyday city society. When doing task 4, I researched about the different terms from my lotus diagram. I began with an okay understanding of the topics, but after doing thorough research, I discovered a deeper understanding and could now better answer my question. Some key findings in my research were chemicals go into the ocean because of pollution, small animals ingest these chemicals and are later eaten by large animals, which then affects the whole food chain. Since the human race eats a lot of seafood every year, we are bound to get passed on illnesses because of the pollution. The largest source of pollution found in the ocean comes directly from land-based sources. These include factories, farms, vehicles, sewage tanks, as well as much larger industrial operations. Therefore, pollution is a choice that humans make. We can avoid putting rubbish in the ocean by making sure we don't litter anywhere, even somewhere as simple as the schoolyard. It all eventually makes its way to the ocean. Over 250 million metric tons of plastic had found its way into the ocean in 2010. Mercury is one of these toxic metals found in the ocean, and for humans, having a prolonged exposure to mercury can cause all sorts of neurological and systematic diseases. These include Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, and heart disease. Mercury is found in the rubbish that we put into the ocean. It is microscopic too, so it's hard to find. The small fish eat first, then the big fish eat those fish. It then goes up the food chain. Fish like tuna are the worst, as they are one of the most popular and cheapest fish yet. There is so much mercury in there. That is extremely dangerous if you consume too much. Mercury also can get into water supplies that we drink every day. This can affect your lifespan and also your children's health when born. The ocean supplies the world with 97% of the world's water supply and 70% of the oxygen we breathe. So if it is contaminated, it will result in mass health issues across the world. Waterborne diseases account for 3,575,000 deaths a year. That's equivalent to a jumbo jet crashing every hour, and the majority of these are children. Over 1 million seabirds are killed by the ocean each year. 300,000 dolphins and porpoises die each year as a result of becoming entangled in discarding fishing nets, among other items. 100,000 sea mammals are killed in the ocean because of pollution each year. This stops all sorts of things happening, as marine biologists have been stopped from researching animals because they are killed and hurt by the pollution. This is also hurting places that rely on fishing to bring in income for their family or community, therefore making people move to places such as cities to seek work, making cities more populated and making small towns have less people. In the 1900s, only 14% of the world's population lived in cities. It is projected that over 70% of people live in urban environments by the year 2050. I believe that this is somewhat due to ocean pollution having an effect on small towns. I then did research into an interview done by a website author who seeks to understand ocean pollution and its effect on society. The interview was about how humans are affected by ocean pollution. The author interviewed Dr. Wendy Watson Wright, who is Executive Secretary of UNESCO's Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission. The interview was taking place over email and was back in 2014. A big issue she was explaining was garbage affecting how difficult it was to find crashed vehicle remains in the ocean, such as crashed planes. This affects all sorts of things: time it takes to find accidents, destroying of evidence and key findings of how it happened. It also has an effect on families and friends of people who have died, as they can't find the wreckage. In conclusion, ocean pollution is one of the worst and biggest avoidable issues in the world, meaning by pure laziness and the need to take shortcuts, the human race has made this issue. Ocean pollution not only affects the animals in the ocean, but has a chain effect that affects all life on the planet.